after college, Danny and I are now in LA working on a different script, having difficulty writing in Los Angeles. And we wanted to just get away for like a month or two to somewhere where we could do nothing but write. And my aunt suggests coming up to Humboldt. I hadn't been there for so long. I was like, this is perfect. She was going to get us an inn right on the ocean. And we were going to have no electricity and no internet and no television. So literally all we were going to be able to do for like 10 hours a day was write.
Fantastic.
And so we went up there, and my idealized vision from the past was false, or at least oversimplified. I had a totally different perspective when we went up the second time, or as an adult. Primarily in like when I used to think that this was such a perfectly beautiful lifestyle, I started to see some of the darker side of it, or at least I recognized it. I.e., well, these kids, these cousins of mine who had, gone off to camp and had all this independent spirit, were older now, but were not progressing in a way that I would consider healthy. In particular, one of them was in and out of jail all the time, always in trouble, always rebelling against his parents, who were big rebels. Another one, this girl, was incapable of staying home. She was a complete and utter nomad, and I mean home as in her own home or home with any friend or relationship. Everything was temporary. And someone said to me at some point, in Humboldt you either can't stay or you can't leave, which is a line that's in the movie. And I thought that, and there's a lot of conflict between that young generation and the old generation. And I thought that was really interesting, especially because we had been super inspired at that point by these 70s Hollywood films, and we wanted to make a film like that with all these really complicated characters that are hard to define as being all good or all bad.
Right.
I saw that in Humboldt.
Right.
I'd see a little kid practice rolling a joint, and I was loving them because we were all sitting around talking about interesting things, but then when I see the 7-year-old rolling this joint, I'm annoyed with them again.
I went in very with a sort of preconceived idea of what I thought this place was, and who these people were, and so I that certainly changed. I mean, I think my experience is very similar to Peter's experience in the movie, which is that he goes in very closed off and a little bit distant from them, and then sort of grows to have some sort of understanding of who these people are. But I think that really I'm still on the fence about the place as a whole. Like, I see all these really wonderful things about them. I see the passion and the intelligence and the focus, the focus on the family, and then I also see people who have totally disconnected themselves with the rest of human experience and are very detached and use the marijuana to avoid pain
and it's one thing when the parents chose to do that disconnect, but then they have kids who didn't make that choice.
That's what was really interesting to me, was because that to me is representative of people as a whole. Like, we're all so contradictory and messy and murky that I think that's what's interesting, and I think that's what really inspired us to make the film.
If you love independent film, you should come to this festival, because you should go see movies, and not just the big American releases, certainly not those. Come to this festival, because this is an amazing festival. We had an incredible time. Danny?
Well, Darren, I am gonna buy a villa on the island. So if
with your profits from Humboldt
County,
it's gonna be a very small villa.
It's come to about $0. So if anyone would like to sell me a villa on this island for free, so,
throw in
I'll give you
a
couple of bones, sure, yeah. I would appreciate it. And
would you? Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to move to Ibiza?
Yeah.
If Ibiza, whatever, whoever's listening, your
pronunciation.
Insert your pronunciation.
Ibiza.
Would you be willing to move here?
Yeah.
If you were given a villa for free?
Well,
you're given the villa.
Just describe the villa for me.
It's beachside. It's a little up the hill. It's 10,000 square meters. Just throw it in the metric
nice.
system.
Good one
for you guys. I actually don't know how big that is, 10,000 square meters, but it seems reasonable.
Okay.
But the condition is that I'm going to give you this villa for free, and you have to live here for 10 months a year.
Do I have Wi-Fi, internet?
Yes.
Yes. Well, 1 year?
No. You have to live here for the rest of your life.
Can I travel?
10 months out of the year. Yeah, as long as you're here for 10 months out of the year, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Oh, wait a second. Can we make films?
Yeah, but you have to be here for 10 months.
Well, what if we were making a big kind of action picture that requires a 2.5 months?
Gotta shoot it here.
Based here.
You have to shoot it here?
Gotta shoot it here. Unless it's a 2-month shoot. I mean, you could shoot a month of it elsewhere.
No, I wouldn't do it. But let me tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because Ibiza has it's such a high place in my repertoire.
I like that I just realized, I forgot that we were filming for a second. This is our fucking goodbye.
yeah, exactly. Exactly, but let me just one thing is that Ibiza I have such a high feeling about the island that if I were here for 10 months out of the year for the rest of my life, Darren, I'm talking to you, I'm answering your question.
And I'm listening to you and also talking to someone else. Is that impossible?
Bitch!
Is it impossible for me to both listen to you?
You asked me a very specific question.
Hang on a second. Is it not possible that I could both be listening to you and talking to someone else?
And no, I don't believe that's true.
I think that you know me better than that.
Yeah. Alright, look, here's the point. The point is that I think it would become normal. I wouldn't appreciate it as much as I currently do. And so, no, I would rather buy a villa and be here for a couple months.
So your suggestion to the people, the readers of Ibiza now, is
don't
spend too much time here because you will just normalize it.
That's right. Yeah, that's life in a nutshell. You can have wonderful things happening, and if it's too much of a good thing, it's just going to become really.
I like to just point out, my ending message was support the Independent Film Festival. Go see independent films. Danny's closing message was don't spend too much time anywhere because life sucks.
Keep on the move.
And
always on the move.
Only in moderation.
Keep an exit strategy.
I really hope that you include both of our closing messages.
All right, so
because they're very much reflective of who we are as people.
That's right.